Well, you know who's doing. You know who else is doing their own thing?
Mm-hmm.
Netflix. Netflix has now joined the acquisition party,
Oh,
right
boy.
along 2K, Sony, and Microsoft. Netflix
And
is-
Nintendo. Come on now,
Oh, yeah.
Nintendo made some purchases. Yeah, yeah. They were in the mix.
Yeah, they just made it. They made it official. So Netflix apparently spent $72 million to acquire Next Games, which is a mobile game. They make mobile game.
Yeah,
Studio.
you will know them because they were the company that made well,
Stranger
I mean, at
Things
least
puzzle
the
title.
at least the last two Stranger Things games. I think they also may have made the first two as well, which are great. They are really cool games. They are unique. They're cool little pixel adventure action games. And also they now have the Asphalt Racing series exclusive, right? So they Asphalt Extreme, the latest in the Asphalt racing game series, which everyone will know because Asphalt Racing has been a thing all the way back since like the first color phones, right?
I remember last year they bought Night School Studio, right? So they're in the acquisition game to buy mobile game developers because they have their mobile game store, Netflix Games, right? The app on iOS and Android,
Yep.
which is free. And I think again, this is where Google sort of fell off with Stadia, right? They opened up their own first party studio to make their first party games, and less than 2 years they shut it down. Where Netflix is in it for the long haul. They know if they want to make this a thing, they have to make exclusive games that you can only play in their app store, right?
Oh yeah, you need to have the killer IP, right? That's the whole thing. Like why here and not somewhere else, right? Like
Yeah.
you just basically, I mean, they have the mobile storefront. That's it, right? So they have their own Apple Arcade or whatever it is, right? Here's a bunch of games that are on our platform. And, hopefully you can only play them here. Like that would like kind of be the draw for it. I don't think this is going to get a lot of people coming over. Like I'm not going to download this thing. And I mean, maybe I'll play the new Stranger Things game, whatever it is, whatever the newest one that comes out is. But I looked at what they have in there. It's a lot of clones or clone mechanics of the like the hot games that are out now, mixed in with some of their original stuff like the Stranger Things. Not that I'm against mobile games by any means. I have a ton of mobile games on my phone and I play them, but nothing really seems to be like the killer app at this point.
So I think you're totally wrong. Okay, I think
Okay.
in Netflix I trust. When they said they couldn't compete with Blockbuster, right? And do streaming games. They did it. I mean, movies. They did it. They couldn't stream movies. They did it.
Yeah.
They can't make their own movies. They did it. Okay. They hired the right people and do something miraculous, something that other companies don't do. They let the right people do what they do best.
True.
Right?
But you know what the through line is in all those successes? Movies. Media. This is games, which is a very different beast.
Entertainment. And
I know, but games are a very different beast,
And this is mobile games too, by the way. This is not console gaming. This is mobile gaming. And I think they're hiring the right people, right? They're hiring the right experts and they're hiring the right studios with the right teams.
Well, I mean,
make the games that they want to make. They have interactive games with Netflix, right, where you can use your remote control. I still think they should buy Atari. I still think they should buy Atari so I can play Centipede while I decide which Netflix video I want to watch.
I don't see the thing of it is if you go down that road, they have to be compatible with every single remote, otherwise it doesn't work, right? The brilliance of what the Bandersnatch choose your own adventure game and the Minecraft adventure that they had, like the two the two games that were on Netflix, was that you would just use the little D-pad left, right, up, down, and you would make your selection, right? And then you would go to the next story bit. So it was guaranteed to work on any single remote, right? Because everybody has the D-pad, everybody has a button. That's the extent of what they can do. I don't think you're going to be able to play Centipede with your TV remote. I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, first of all, when the last time you played Centipede, all you need is a directional pad and an OK button, which every remote control has.
Yeah, listen. I've had that experience. I've been on the airplanes where they have those second, third, fifth rate video games on there, and it's terrible because the lag is ridiculous. Centipede is a Twitch fast reaction game that technically really needs a rollerball if you want to play it like. If you want to play it the best way possible, you need to have a rollerball.
Somebody beat Elden Ring with a Wii with the Switch Ring Fit Adventure rubber. Okay. All right.
So you mean Dark Souls? You mean Dark Souls? Yeah. Yeah, it's one dude.
It was Elden Ring. No, it was Elden Ring. It was Elden Ring. Somebody.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. The Wii with the. I keep saying
one
Wii,
dude.
Switch.
One dude.
Well, all you need is one guy. All you need is one person.
That's not gonna hold their. It's not gonna hold their.
As a matter of fact, all they need is one game. They need their Flappy Birds or their Candy Crush.
You're right.
All they need is
You're
one
right.
game.
They do need the one game that's like, oh my god, this is the new Wordle, this is the new Flappy Bird, and then boom, they'll be in business. But yeah, I mean, I know I'm not gonna okay, I will try it and see what's on there to get a first-hand account of what it is, but I don't think I'm going to keep it on my phone.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think Apple Arcade is successful?
Yes, because
no.
They are, but
it's successful.
But I will tell you why it's successful.
Before you tell me why, do you know how many months I've been subscribed to Apple Arcade?
0.
There you go. Just because it's not for me doesn't mean it can't be successful. So just because I don't subscribe to Netflix games or you don't subscribe to Netflix games,
but there's actual stuff that you want to play on there that is curated, right? It's plus it's also very high for what it is. There's a fee per month to get these games, so it's not just like
it's $10. $10 a month.
Okay, well you don't have Games Pass, you don't have the Sony offering, you don't have any of that stuff, right? Like I am a Games Pass member. It would be if I was an iPhone dude, I would consider getting into it. Some of the stuff is exclusive. A lot of the stuff is just curated though. They're like games that aren't free to play. They're usually like a game that would cost you like $5 or $10 in the iOS store. There's a couple of exclusive stuff, but it's a very, very good. It's a very nicely curated list of very aesthetically pleasing games that kind of fit within that kind of Apple ethos, right? You get stuff like Monument Valley and Sayonara Wild Hearts, and a bunch of other games. I think I don't know, one of the hot games, the sequel is exclusive for a little bit on that system. So there's stuff in there that I'm interested in. Right, I would definitely jump on board and try it.
All right. And Netflix can do the same thing. Netflix can make the same experience with their own exclusive.
Oh, they certainly could.
This is going to take a couple of years. It's going to take a couple of years. They just acquired. It's like they're acquiring a mobile game studio once a year, right? Like they keep. Next year they're going to acquire another mobile game studio, and in 3 years tops, they give it 3 years, they're going to have a curated ecosystem that in their Netflix games. And then they're going to put out their interactive games too that people will like.
I mean, look. The Bandersnatch thing was like cool. But I only played it once, and that was it. And then it's like I'm never going to play it again.
What was that movie that was exclusive? Knives Out? What was it called?
That was on Amazon, I think, or actually, did they buy Knives Out? I think they bought.
Was it called Knives Out? Because they're making a Knives Out too.
Well, they're making multiple Knives Out. Yeah, I think they own the Knives Out franchise now, where they've secured what's his name, Daniel Craig, to do at least 2 more movies. He's doing
2 more movies.
I think so. Yeah. Well, they want him to be like. he's the James Bond of the detective world, right? So they want him in all these various cases. So it's always a new cast of characters, a new adventure
Netflix
to go on.
They spent $465 million to buy 2 sequels.
Sure. And I think that's great because the first Knives Out movie was amazing. All-star cast. It was great. It was a good acquisition.
And you can make that. You could turn that into a Telltale game, right? You can make a Knives Out mystery dungeon style.
I mean, you could, but
yeah,
there's a ton of games like that. There's even Telltale games that. There are a ton of games like that. Not all of them are good.
I know.
Cough, Game of Thrones. Cough. Yeah. All the ones not made by Telltale. There's only
that's not true.
There's only some of the Telltale games which are great.
Quantic Dreams make those style games, and they're great.
Yeah, they've only made like 3. They've only made 3.
They're making a Star Wars game that's going to come out in 2025.
Yeah, and that'll be the 4th one out of the series. Very hard to do that, right? Like, yeah, it's very easy to make a game like that. Very hard to make a game like that does well, that has an interesting story, that has good art style, that has like interesting choices in the game. Like, Walking Dead is, one of the best, right? Wolf Among Us, one of the best. But I think those are the exception, not the rule. All right.
I think you're wrong. I think you can make a great Knives Out game style mystery, like, point and click adventure.
You certainly could.
And it would fit.
You certainly could.
And people, I think people will love it if it's a good game. So, I think you're wrong.
But what else is, what else beyond, like, you need more than, because how long is that game going to last? Maybe a week? And then you solve the mystery,
That's why you keep buying studios. You have that. You could play that. You could play the Candy Crush equivalent that one of these studios will make. You'll have a racing game in it. You have multiple games that they're going to keep producing. You have a Stranger Things game. You have an American Horror game. They're going to keep making games. You keep saying, what else? They're going to keep making them. They have 3 studios already. They're going to keep making games.
They have 3. How many studios does Microsoft have? They have like triple that. They have quadruple that. They have like 30 studios. How many studios does Sony have?
And when the original Xbox came out, they had 2. Okay, they kept buying and kept creating. You have to start somewhere. You keep saying, what do they have now? I don't care what they had now. What did they have when they first started? When they first started.
So we'll see.
When Nintendo first started making games, they had R&D 1, and that was it.
Yeah, but they made tons of arcade games at that point. I mean, they basically just ported all their arcade games over, right? You had Donkey Kong at that point. You had Mario Brothers.
R&D 1, the only studio they had, made those games. They ported it into the home console.
Yeah, but they had a ton of games that they're like, all right, we're going to make a console now. Right? They put the work in.
You told me the original Xbox didn't have games. You were wrong about that, by the way, but you said it didn't have.
No, it's true. It didn't.
Exclusive game. No, it's not true.
It didn't.
Fable is a great game. I'm sorry, I don't care what you say.
Well, Fable came out like 4 years after the launch, or 3 years after the launch. Like Fable was like 2005.
Yeah, but Fable's still a great game. I just want to throw that in.
Well, I'm not arguing that, but it came out way after.
You say they didn't have enough games, right?
Yeah, they didn't. They didn't. The original Xbox, but the original Xbox. And I still think it was a failure. It was a way to get them in the door. The 360 was the one. So it took them.
Okay.
You know what? It took them like 6 years to get to a good console.
You know what? This is the Netflix's original Xbox. They're waiting for their 360. They're acquiring studios, and they will get their 360 in 5 years.
I don't know. I don't know.
I have more faith. I have more faith in Netflix than I did in Google.
What about Amazon? Right, Amazon's got tons of money.
Amazon is terrible. They're terrible. If it ain't about shipping you something or giving you a movie or giving you a streaming movie, they're terrible. They're terrible. They never. How many stories did we talk about Amazon not having the right people in place to make decisions?
Well, I mean, that's just management not hiring the right people, right? So they have the money to do it. They can certainly be successful.
So Netflix,
but that's why it's so difficult, though. But that's why it's so difficult. Like that goes to my point.
And Netflix has a history of hiring the right people when they want to get into a different business.
They have a history of successes with the thing that they came to the table with, which was movies.
Streaming movies and making movies are 2 different things. They're 2 different business models. There are two different business models.
Sure.
Okay, because people laughed when they said they wanted to make their own content. People laughed at them, and they made.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
People.
For
they
sure.
hired the right people and let the right
sure.
people do what they do best.
But you can make the argument. You can make the argument for anything, right? Oh well, since Netflix did all this stuff, they could sell orange juice. They could sell Netflix branded orange juice.
They would hire the right farmers.
No. You get to a point, and it's like I don't think they can do.
And they let the farmers who do. They would just buy apple. They would just buy the orange juice. They would say, you know what, we own Tropicana now, so now we make great orange juice because we bought them.
That is the only way it's going to work, through acquisitions. They got to get the right companies in there. So I'll give you that.
They're doing that. They're making acquisitions.
Well, they made the most obvious acquisition. They made the company they were working with for their Stranger Things game, and they brought them into the fold and said, "Okay, you're going to be a part of us now. Here's a sack of money." So that's an easy acquisition. What else?
Do you think Microsoft makes great single player experiences? Yes. You know why? Because they bought Bethesda. They bought Bethesda. So yes, I do believe Netflix. In Netflix, I trust.
Do you think Netflix has Microsoft money? I don't think they have Microsoft money.
They spent $460 million just for 2 fucking movies. I think they have Microsoft
$460 million. That's not a B.
Yeah.
That's not a B. Microsoft spent $69 billion on their latest acquisition. So
they spent
and $7.5 billion for Bethesda.
They spent $500 million for 2 movies. Yes. 2 movies.
Yeah, that's $500 million. That's $500 million.
Imagine if they bought 20 movies.
No. That's not $500 million. That'd be $500 million. Is that what it was?
It's 500. It's 500 million. It's 465. It's 500 million. It's 500 million.
Right.
If you had $4.65, if you had $4.65, you had $5.
We'll round up the extra there, or we'll round up the extra million for that. All right, we'll see. We were obviously divided, like we always are on the show, but
the company is worth $176 billion as of January 21st. Yes, they have Microsoft money.
All right. Yes. Okay. Yes. All right. I want to see them buy a AAA studio, and then I'll be like, all right, what do you got?
They should have bought EA.
My God!
They should buy EA. They should have bought Activision Blizzard.
Jesus.
Let them buy Activision Blizzard, which by the way, Activision Blizzard blames Microsoft for them not having diversity. That was a new
Microsoft for them not having. How does that even work?
I didn't really get into the. I didn't get to say. It didn't make the run of show. For the show because I got the news too late. But that was a headline that came out. That was
nothing makes sense about that. Diversity comes from within. There's no bones about it. You hire the people that you hire, and you hire them for the reasons that you hire them. If there's a diversity problem, you have a hiring problem. That's where that beginning ends,
Maybe they're blaming the acquisition because they didn't. I mean, obviously they've been in talks to be acquired for like months.
Oh yeah,
all the controversy started.
Oh yeah,
maybe it's because we didn't hire any new people, so it's because we're being acquired. We were in talks to be acquired. So maybe that's the reason. That could be the reason.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know why you would say that, because you're basically tanking the valuation of Activision Blizzard when Microsoft is trying to protect the valuation of the company, right, and trying to rehabilitate its image, right? Why would you kind of muddy the water in that way? Yeah, that's kind of weird. That's kind of weird.